All right, we are going to talk about weeds. Yep, you weed the garden and they come right back. They're a pain, and Gretchen Staley, the master gardener, is here to help us out. So thanks for coming today. I see some very familiar weeds that are in my yard, having a good time growing.
They're very popular around here. So, yeah. So I've been on here different times talking about the least conflicted kind of ways to weed your garden. And in extension, we talk about integrated pest management. And that really just means starting with the simplest things and then working your way up. And so we've talked about weeding by hand.
Yeah.
And there are weeds like our dandelions that if we do a good job and dig deep and get the plant out, it's done. That's not so bad. We've talked about mulching, which keeps the weed population down. Once you've weeded your beds or planted your vegetables and they've started to come up, a good layer of mulch. We've had those conversations, but as you said, there are just some plants that kind of, you think of like the Hydra from mythology, like you could cut off their head and two more grow back.
Exactly. I pull these suckers and then I get like three more or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And there are some that just weeding by hand, just frankly, is not going to get it.
Okay.
That there's a reason why we resort to some extra help for some of these. These, I couldn't get this all out, this Canada Thistle all out in one piece, but it actually grows like this. And these rhizomes are actually underground stems, is a better way to think of them than as roots, because the root hairs are tiny, but these thick, fleshy underground stems, I don't know if the camera can get it from here, but that's actually a new plant growing. So if we dig this out and get, say, that, and we think, oh, we've got it.
I feel like I did a good job, exactly.
Yes, but actually we've left all this underground, and these little nubs are the next plant. So it's virtually impossible to dig them all the way out by yourself.
Okay, so
here's another one. Look at this baby.
That is long, isn't it?
That's bishop's weed, and you see how it just stretches out. And try as you might, you're not going to get it. So there are some times.
I have this in my yard.
And this creeping Charlie,
it purple flowers sometimes.
It does. And if you want to save your creeping Charlie for your pollinators, go for it.
Oh, there we go. That's a purpose for them.
It's perfectly fine. But if you prefer it not to be in an area of your yard, then you really the only resort is to treat. And people get nervous about chemicals. But they work in a couple different ways. Most of these disrupt the chlorophyll process. So that's where it kind of just alters the plant and ultimately kills them all the way back to the ground. And so the key is really just using according to the label direction, and it really only takes a small amount. In my garden, like, I would take a lot of these extra leaves off, kind of cut it back small, and then literally this is my Trimec bottle, is 3 years old. So a little splurt, and they will go. That's the way to do it.
We're running out of time. That kind of stuff does work. Just follow the directions.
It does work. Follow the directions and do it last. If you disrupt it, you lose it.
All right. Well, I'm going to hopefully weed my garden now. Thanks very much for joining us.
You're welcome.